Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Gen Politics. This story with Epstein continues to get more and more frustrating, and people have had enough. They're just totally fed up with trusting at all that the government, either side, is going to be honest with this, because what the FBI just came out and said is absolutely ridiculous. They said that there was no client list. It never existed, despite the fact that Pam Bondi said she had the list on her desk for review, that Trump and Vance and Cash and Bongino all said that they want to release the Epstein list. This has never been a contested point. No one has ever come out and said, there is no list, or we don't know if there's a list. We're not 100% sure. Everyone's like, well, we'll release the list. We'll do it in a way that doesn't hurt victims or whatever. That's fine. Nobody's arguing with that. They just want to know who was involved and who is going to be arrested. And the answer to that seems to be no one. And shut up and stop asking questions, because it's not even real. And next they'll say it didn't even happen. There was over 1,000 Epstein victims. And the girls who were victims said there were people on that island and involved other than Epstein and Ghislaine who were doing the assaults. But yet, no one's arrested. It was just Epstein. It was just Ghislaine. There was no client list. No one else was involved. Shut up. Stop asking questions. We're done. We're not investigating this anymore. Here's footage of a prison cell that's not even Epstein's prison cell, with a minute missing from it. This will really prove that nothing happened. No one buys this. And why? Why do they release that information years later? It's the most benign video ever. It's a video outside a different prison cell at the prison that does not show Epstein's cell, and it has a minute missing, but there's nothing incriminating going on in that video. It's just a video of a cell. But yet they haven't released it for over 5 years now. And they said there wasn't any video anyways. And so they always give us breadcrumbs. People get fed up and say, oh no, we got this huge bombshell coming. Just wait a couple more months and let us take some more pictures with influencers. And then we'll release a video that proves absolutely nothing, that we lied about saying we didn't have. And it's just ridiculous. No one buys this. No one buys this. And this makes Trump look absolutely terrible. Because Elon said, 2 weeks ago, totally baseless claim, said Trump won't release the Epstein list because he's on it. Okay, totally baseless claim. However, then Trump has his people, come out and say, the list never existed. We're not going to release it. We're not releasing anything. Case closed. Stop asking questions. That doesn't make you look innocent. That does not make Trump look transparent. And again, it's a totally baseless accusation, but when someone responds to that baseless accusation in a way that is incredibly suspicious, people start asking questions. And if Trump has nothing to do with this, he should fire Pam Bondi for lying about having this stuff. But he won't. And so if you were really president, you really lost control, you really had no idea that what was there and what wasn't, and you were told all this stuff was there and it was going to be released, and then they come out and they're like, yeah, we just lied to you. Yeah, we were just lying about what we had. We have nothing. We don't know anything. Trump should fire those people. But when you don't, it makes it look bad. And now the people who are Trump's undying devoted fans are running with these two narratives that, well, either one, Trump is using the blackmail for his own maneuvers. Now he has the Epstein videos and pictures of all these celebrities and politicians. So now he's using that blackmail on them. Nobody wants him to do that. They want them arrested. They want, to what end? To what end is Trump blackmailing these people? Allegedly. What would be the point? We want those people arrested. We want to find out how deep this goes. And then there's another narrative where they're just saying that, oh, well, the FBI under Biden deleted everything. Then why did you say stuff was on your desk? Then why did you say you had all this stuff you had to sift through? And you're telling me that in all these thousands of videos and pictures you have, the only two adults in those pictures are Epstein and Ghislaine? There's no one else there. And like I said, even if there's not a list, a physical list, like Santa's naughty list that says these people did these things, you still have everybody that Epstein came in contact with in association with his enterprise. So anybody who visited that island, the pilots, if you're a pilot and you're like, this guy every couple months brings, flies in dozens of underage, unattended girls to this mysterious island. That's a little suspicious. You're not like the pilots, anybody working there, anybody visited the island, anybody associated with him. You can start investigating those people. But they say, no, case closed. We don't need to look into anybody. No one will be arrested. They were trafficking children to themselves. Ghislaine pulled up with a van, pulled some kid off the street by herself, put him on a plane, flew to the island by herself. Just her and Epstein did this. No one else was involved. Not a single person. It's just ridiculous. No one believes that. It's impossible. And so, and the fact that all the money, where'd the money come from? Because it's a lot of money to run a private island and fly all over the place. And Epstein does not have a track record where like the money he had, which is hundreds of millions of dollars, did not correlate to any above the board enterprise that he had. He was not making hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate. There is a clear, distinct missing money trail, which we know where the money was coming from, trafficking people. However, we don't know to who. Somehow they say that wasn't real. The money just, magic. At the same time, the client list magically vanished out of existence. Hundreds of millions of dollars just magically manifested in Jeffrey Epstein's bank account with no correlation. Nothing happened. There's no blackmail. It's a weird thing to come out and say that, like, oh yeah, we know that there's no blackmail, even though you have all these videos and supposed, this was going on. There was allegations of this. Just to then say total case closed, just no investigation. We're not going to look into anybody. There's going to be no arrests. It does not make anybody look good. And when Kash Patel and Dan Bongino go on their nationwide "Shut Up, Stop Asking Questions" tour, they say, "Would I lie to you? Would I lie to you? Yes, I don't believe you. I don't know you. We put you in because we thought that you would have the moral integrity to release the stuff. We didn't put you in there because we trust your word. It's that we trust you to do the action." And then they don't do the action. And then they say, why would I lie? What reason would I have to lie to you? And nobody buys that. Nobody believes that. So this makes Trump look absolutely terrible. It makes him look like he's involved. Whether that's true or not, whether Elon's baseless accusation is true or not, that's what this looks like. Because you release nothing, and then you lie, and you lie and lie and lie, and they gaslight, and then they say it wasn't even real, it never existed. They completely contradict themselves. Then they release this footage of the jail cell that proves nothing, with a minute missing, and it's the wrong cell. You can't see Epstein's cell. And even in that, there's contradictory information where you see somebody in probably an orange jumpsuit, moving up the stairs at 10:40, I think is the time, when basically everybody was supposed to be in their cells at 8 p.m., which doesn't make any sense. So that doesn't make sense. It just, nothing's adding up. There's no transparency here. And then to come out and say, we're done. Just not even saying we don't have the information, ongoing investigate. Just stop asking questions. Stop talking about it. Not a single person will be arrested. It was just Ghislaine. Ridiculous. Nobody buys this. So this is really probably going to be the nail in the coffin for Trump's campaign and anybody tied to him, because this is a question that'll come up during the primaries. During a town hall, someone will ask JD Vance, you said you would release the client list, and now you're saying it doesn't exist. It's not real. What is up with that? Why do you lie? And everybody associated with Trump who wants any position in power is going to have to answer for that. And this will be the thing that hangs over Trump's legacy forever is that you didn't drain the swamp. You didn't go after any of these people because they're still out there. The people who these girls said did horrible things to them are still out there because no one's been arrested. So what's the deal with that? It doesn't make any sense at all. You know, several decades long operation, you know, run by two people. That's it. No one else involved. Like I said, no pilots, no one who did construction on the island, no one who had any inkling of an idea what was going on. Really. Like thousands of people involved, you know, thousands of victims. And somehow it was just two people who did it and was able to silence all these people and keep a lid on this for decades and decades and decades. No one believes that. And so if you said, we don't have this information, even if they went with a narrative, it was destroyed by the previous administration, you would still have to then say, okay, that's destroyed. But you still said you had the pictures and videos. Where are the videos? Like, what is in the background? Is it all on the island? Is there apartments? Whose apartment is it? Is it an associate of Epstein, or is this Epstein's apartment? I'm not saying release any of the pictures or videos, obviously. I'm saying a lot of those probably have information in them about whereabouts or what went on. Some of the girls have testified and said there was other people involved. Who is involved? Investigate those people. But no, you just say, we're not interested. We're done. Just don't look over here. That does not instill any confidence in the American people. They're done trusting people. They want your action. They trust you enough that they think you're going to pull off the action. Nobody trusts a politician's word anymore. Doesn't matter who they are. And running with this narrative that like somehow Trump is like playing 4D chess by, you know, not arresting a single person and telling everybody to shut up. It's like neither of those make sense. He's just blackmailing. He's blackmailing these people now, which nobody asked for. Or the fact that, actually it was all destroyed. It's like, then why did they lie? Like, just release it. That's what people want. They want to know who is involved. Even if you said it was destroyed, we're having an ongoing investigation. We're going to try to figure this out. But no, this is going to be really bad for Trump. I don't think he can recover from this. I think his legacy will be damned, because how do you come back from this? You promised all of this stuff. We're going to release this stuff in multiple series, you know, Pam Bondi said. If you had any shred of decency in saying, like, I want to handle this situation appropriately, if you were the president, you would fire Pam Bondi. So you turned this into a circus. You made this a clown show. You were talking up how much there is and how many bombshells there is, and then you just say there's nothing. Go home. Here's the video of a cell that's not his cell. Fire her. Fire anybody involved. You know, what are you doing? And then when Trump just doesn't do any action that makes it seem like he's even the slightest bit apologetic that they have nothing to present to the American people, that they continuously lied to them. When you don't have any shred of sympathy like that, it just makes you look terrible. And so I don't know if they're trying to it's hard to tell what the narrative is here, because a lot of times when you know something's fishy, this is fishy, you can kind of decipher what's going on in the background, right? What is the incentive of the Trump administration to not release this information and to send Kash Patel and Dan Bongino on this wild, you know, please shut up and stop asking questions world tour? Sometimes it's easy to decipher what the narrative is. This one's hard because we don't really know like what's going on in the background. Talking to some people I know, just politically, who've read a lot more about the story, they think, you know, maybe Trump's trying to get ahead of this. Maybe he fears Elon. When he was at Doge, he stumbled across something he shouldn't have. He's got that information. They had their bad breakup. Now Elon wants to run his America First party, and Elon has the real information that he could release. And Trump's getting ahead of it and saying, well, it's all lies, nothing's true, it's not even real. So if anybody comes out and says this is real, this is the client list, believe me, it's not real. You know, getting ahead of the story. I don't, and then doing what they tried to do about the when they bombed Fordo in Iran, saying that like anybody who questions the administration, we're just going to sue them. Like we're going to sue CNN for spreading misinformation, for saying that it wasn't destroyed. Do the same thing. Anybody who says this is the real client list, if Elon releases it, if Putin releases it, if anybody who has it somewhere in the world, they'll just say like, this is not true. And we'll go after anybody who says this is true. That could be very well be the case. So it's hard to know what the narrative is here. It's hard to know what like the Trump administration's move is, why they would do this, why they think this would work, why they just saying, just trust me, bro, would actually work. It beats me. And I think they know that it's not going to work, but they have to do something, because it's better if there's something incriminating with Trump or any of these people, or they just totally lost the plot, or they're getting blackmailed, or they're getting pressured not to release stuff, or Trump is somebody who favors stability, that he just doesn't want to admit that maybe 75% of Congress and 90% of Hollywood and 50% of the CEOs in the country, and on and on and on, all these people, hundreds of thousands, probably not hundreds, but like thousands, tens of thousands of people were involved. The highest, richest people in the country. The most destabilizing event in probably American history or world history would be possible if you pulled this thread to find out how deep this operation goes. Like a blackmail, essaying kind of operation like Epstein was allegedly running. If that's real, that would probably be the most destabilizing event in American history, because you would have every person in power, or every other person in some semblance of power, being in some way tied to this, even if they were just being blackmailed. That would be awful. That would be, because you'd have to mass arrest tens of thousands of people in positions of power. I mean, the American people would never forgive you. They would never trust again. You'd have absolute chaos. And maybe Trump's thinking, well, it would be worse to have that happen, right? It'd be worse to have total societal chaos, because they find out, oh, whoopsies, like basically everybody you look up to, every household name is related to Epstein in some way. I could see that. I could say that's something I've said before, is Trump favors stability. I didn't know if he would secretly arrest people or arrest them for things that isn't this, say it's something else. It seems like he's just not going to do anything. If it's real, he's just not going to arrest anybody. So I don't know. It's hard to tell what the narrative is. It's hard to tell what his desires is. But until he speaks on it, which he's going to have to talk about what is wrong with Pam Bondi lying about all this stuff. And he's going to have to be accountable for this to some degree. It's hard to tell what the narrative is, what they're trying to do here. And I don't see anybody buying it. It's been the trending thing for like the last 3 days. Nobody believes this. So that's my thoughts on this. I think it's ridiculous. I really have no idea what the narrative is here. I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know why they're so adamant about it. Why are they not just saying, we don't know, we lost some stuff, it was destroyed, ongoing investigation, some of these accusations are decades old, it's hard to find these people, we're doing the best we can, we're going to keep it open, we're going to keep looking at this stuff, we're going to release everything we have that is illegal evidence, right? We're going to just release any videos of the cells, any pictures of the apartments during the raids, Epstein's actual financials that were the above board, like his real estate or whatever, that stuff we'll release. Just everything we have that is non-incriminating, we'll release all that. So at least you have an idea of what was going on. But they won't. They're just adamant about just stop asking questions. We're not going to give you anything else. So it's hard to tell why they're so adamant about that. Does this have to do with Elon in Doge? Did he find something he shouldn't have that he's threatening to release? Is this going to be destabilizing? Is Trump worried about that? Is Trump incriminated? Who knows? But no one's buying the official story from Pam Bondi and her traveling circus. So that's my thoughts on this. You made it all the way through the video. I appreciate it. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think any of this is true, that they're just like, oh yeah, there's just nothing there? Just trust the plan. I'm curious about that. So let me know that down in the comments below, and thank you for watching.